This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. The Commission on Audit has called out the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration over 256.07 million pesos worth of hydrometeorological or hydromet stations set up nationwide which remain idle for over a year. In its 2023 annual audit report on PAGASA, the COA said a validation by its audit team revealed that over 100 hydromet stations installed in strategic places nationwide, with an estimated value of 256.074 million pesos, were no longer operational or were no longer sending rainfall water level data to the State Weather Forecasting Bureau's central server in Quezon City. The audit body said the hydromet stations, if only continuously maintained and utilized, could have marginally improved the agency's rainfall forecasting and warning system and information dissemination, especially to flood-prone communities. The COA said that of the 1,825 hydromet stations inspected by the audit team on the 20th of September 2022, 13.48% or 246 stations were not operational and cannot be rehabilitated anymore, while 10.08% or 184 stations needed rehabilitation. Murder charges were filed against a former Court of Appeals Associate Justice and 5 other persons for the killing of a barangay official in Leyte, Vicente Ching Veloso, a former magistrate and congressman of the 3rd District of Leyte, Nicholas Barnes, Elias Butoy, William Luis Languido, Richard De John Pernas, Edwin Mole, and Edwin Commendado were charged before the Department of Justice. The complaint was filed on Wednesday, the 22nd of January, by the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Major Crimes Investigation Unit. The charges stemmed from the murder of Anthony Sevilla Nunez, a councillor of Barangay Malawan, Tabango, Leyte. Nunez was shot inside a cockpit on the 23rd of January, 2016. The CIDG-MCIU said that a case was filed in relation to the murder, but it was dismissed due to insufficient evidence. The CIDG-MCIU disclosed that on the 14th of August, 2024, the CIDG director issued verbal instructions to investigate the killings in the 3rd District of Leyte that led to the reopening and further investigation of Nunez's murder. During the course of the investigation, Pernas surrendered to the CIDG Regional Field Unit Eastern Visayas, where he allegedly admitted his participation in the murder of Nunez. His surrender was prompted by threats to his life from an individual named Ching Veloso. He voluntarily submitted himself into custody of CIDG RFU 8 for him to seek protection. A portion of the documents submitted by CIDG-MCIU to the DOJ said, according to the CIDG-MCIU, Pernas is a New People's Army rebel and is wanted for a murder case in Barangay Ginchaman, San Miguel, Leyte. The CIDG-MCIU added on the 20th of August 15, Languido admitted his participation in the crime. Languido, also a former member of the NPA, is currently detained at the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology Biliran. As the investigation continued, the CIDG-MCIU said a 45-year-old resident of Barangay Basad, San Isidro, Leyte came forward and testified that he positively identified the gunman in the killing of Nunez. The witness identified the gunman as Barnes. In his sworn statement, Pernas said Barnes was his former platoon commander in the NPA since 2001. He said it was Barnes who persuaded him to work in Veloso's farm in Barangay Ginchaman. While working as a security guard in the farm, Pernas said he came to know Languido and Commendado. The CIDG-MCIU said that Pernas claimed to have been paid an additional 5,000 pesos for violent tasks. Pernas alleged that Veloso ordered Butoy to carry out a certain job which turned out to be the assassination of Nunez. In his own admission, the CIDG-MCIU said Languido recounted that their group gunned down Nunez in a cockpit in Barangay Manloan, Tabango at 4 p.m. Barnes was the alleged gunman while Languido served as a lookout and the driver of the getaway vehicle. The CIDG-MCIU said that the killing of Nunez was politically motivated as he was a known supporter of Veloso's political rivals. An active and a deserting member of the Philippine Army were arrested here Friday following an entrapment operation for allegedly selling illegal firearms. Lieutenant Juan Kaing, spokesperson of the Cotabato Provincial Police Office, identified the suspects as Private First Class J. Clinton Delgado Pagantalan, 30, an active member of the Army's 39th Infantry Battalion based in Maquilala Town, and Serif Dasal Munkus, 35, an Army deserter. We are still corroborating all information and evidence to determine if they belong to a large syndicate, Kong said in a statement released Saturday. According to him, the military intelligence battalion led the operation and coordinated the local police for the entrapment that led to the arrest of the suspects along the national highway in Barangay Lica at about 3:30 p.m. Authorities recovered 3 M16 rifles from the suspects, including the 200,000 pesos in buy-bust money. Police are preparing cases against the suspects for violating Republic Act 105/91, or the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act, and the Commission on Elections gun ban under the Omnibus Election Code before the Provincial Prosecutor's Office in Cotabato City. The Army's 39th Infantry Battalion, in a statement, also lauded the arrest of the suspects. 7 agents of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency are now the subject of follow-up operations after a Pasay City court ordered their arrest for a case of kidnapping for ransom and serious illegal detention. Those ordered arrested were Vidal Baclod, Efren Esteban, Zez Angelo Galutera, Renato Flores, Jan Alexis Mateo and Alex Ramos, all PDEA agents assigned Central Luzon. In this regard, the PDEA appealed to the public to contact the nearest Philippine National Police office if they have information that may lead to their apprehension. When pressed if they are still with the agency, PDEA personnel Glenn Malapad confirmed that the 7 are still in active status for now, but the administrative case filed against them is undergoing and is up for resolution. But he said the 7 agents were already barred from joining anti-illegal drugs operations. They cannot be charged with AWOL since 30 working days are needed before they are declared AWOL, Mapalad explained. A total of 903 police officers were dismissed from service last year due to various offenses, according to the Philippine National Police. PNP's 2024 data showed that 5,457 police officers were charged administratively. Of this figure, 903 officers were dismissed, including 5 lieutenant colonels, 6 majors, 12 captains and 5 lieutenants. Close to 3,000 police officers were sanctioned in 2024 for various violations committed while on duty, the Philippine National Police said Sunday. Official data show 5,457 officers faced administrative charges and were involved in 3,751 cases. Among them, 2,765 officers received penalties, while 2,691 were exonerated. Records showed that among those penalized, 1,112 received suspensions including a colonel, 19 lieutenant colonels, 29 majors, 30 captains, and 22 lieutenants. A re-electionist municipal councillor from Kaohsiung, Ilocos Sur was gunned down in Barangay Tamag, Vigan City, Ilocos Sur on Saturday morning, the 25th of January. Police identified the victim as Anthony Verzela, a resident of Barangay Calagip, Kaohsiung. Investigation said Verzela was sitting in front of a restaurant at about 6 a.m. when unidentified persons riding a motorcycle appeared. One of them disembarked and shot the victim in the head. The suspects fled and the victim was taken by the police to a hospital in Vigan City where he was declared dead. Police recovered an empty .45 caliber shell at the crime scene. Lawmen are reviewing surveillance footages and conducting follow-up investigation. By pleading guilty to a lesser offense, the treasurer of Caraga Town and Davao Oriental evaded a possible longer jail term in his graft case. After his Sandagan Bayan arraignment and before the prosecution could start presenting its evidence, Treasurer Jamie D. Labasano filed a plea bargaining agreement with the prosecution. He changed his not guilty plea and, instead, pleaded guilty to a lesser of offense of violation of Section 6(b) in relation to Section 52(b) of Republic Act No. 8291, the law on Social Security and Insurance Benefits for Government Employees. Section 6(b) of RA 8191 provides, whoever shall obtain or receive any money or check invoking any provision of this act or any agreement thereunder, without being entitled thereto with the intent to defraud any members, any employer, the GSIS, or any third party, shall be punished by a fine of not less than 5,000 pesos nor more than 20,000 pesos or by imprisonment of not less than 6 years and 1 day to 12 years, or both, at the discretion of the court. The jail term for violation of Section 3(e) of RA 3019, the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, for which Labasano was charged, is a minimum of 6 years and a maximum of 15 years with permanent disqualification to hold public office. Labasano was indicted for failing to turn over and remit the government service insurance system premiums and contributions of the officials and employees of the municipality amounting to 1,471,461 pesos. The municipality and the GSIS then entered into a memorandum of agreement and the amount was reduced by 50% with an interest of 1,931,062 pesos. The municipality agreed to pay the interest charge amounting to 965,531 pesos, and both Labasano and his co-accused, former Caraga Mayor William Sobiaco Duman, agreed to pay the remaining interest. Labasano entered into a plea bargaining agreement with the prosecution. Plea bargaining is a process of negotiation between the prosecution and defense in a criminal case whereby the accused, in return for leniency or a lighter sentence, agrees to plead guilty to a lesser offense. Approving the plea bargaining, the Sandigan found Labasano guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the lesser offense of Section 6(b) in relation to Section 52(b) of Republic Act No. 8291. He was ordered to pay a fine of 5,000 pesos. The anti-graft court noted the payment made by Labasano in the amount of 965,531 pesos, representing the subject's interest, which is considered full settlement of accused civil liability. Associate Justice Jenna M. Gito wrote the 12-page decision with the concurrence of 5th Division Chairperson Associate Justice Zaldi V. Trespass and Associate Justice Mariani Corpus Manalac. 6 police officers in Malabon have been relieved amid alleged lapses in serving a search warrant. City Police Chief Colonel J. Bayon said the officers were reassigned to the Malabon Police Headquarters pending a probe into the incident. The subject of the search warrant, identified only as Terrigen, claimed that 3 plainclothes officers handcuffed him and failed to read his Miranda rights on the 21st of January. Police searched his house and allegedly recovered a .38 caliber handgun. Terrigen accused the police of planting evidence, saying they immediately retrieved the gun from a box as if they already knew where it was hidden. He was released from detention after the prosecutor dismissed the charges. A video of the alleged anomalous operation circulated online. The Commission on Audit has flagged the Department of Public Works and Highways over its 13 dormant bank accounts with over 6 million pesos in deposits, as it warned that failure to properly handle the accounts might lead to misappropriation or misuse of funds. In its audit report, the COA said that the DPWH regional office in the National Capital Region has one bank account containing 2,267,996 pesos which has remained idle and unused for more than 10 years. It said the Nueva Vizcaya 1st District Engineering Office has one bank account that was created for cash deposits and payments by creditors with contracts from other government agencies. Its 104,374 pesos in deposit has been dormant or inactive for more than 9 years. The letter 2nd DEO has 4 bank accounts that have been inactive for 6 to 8 years already, while the letter 3rd DEO has 3 dormant bank accounts that have remained inactive since 2020. Bilaran DEO has 2 bank accounts deemed inactive and for closure. It also said. It added that the Isabela City DEO in Basilan has 2 bank accounts containing 3,644.277 pesos that have remained dormant for more than 10 years. The COA said that when state auditors inquired with the DPWH about these dormant bank accounts, the DPWH officials said the purpose for which the bank accounts were established have already been completed and are no longer applicable. Thus, the non-closure of unnecessary and dormant bank accounts not only raises the inaccuracy and unreliability of the reported balance of the cash accounts as of year-end but also exposes the balances of these accounts to the risk of possible misappropriation misuse, it said in its report. A 37-year-old former soldier was shot dead by an unidentified gunman in Barangay Handumanan here on Wednesday, the 22nd of January. The victim was identified as Arnold Cabals of Barangay Cabaghir. Police Captain Glenn Montano, head of Police Station 10, said the victim, who had been working as a security guard, was driving a motorcycle on his way home when the suspect appeared. The suspect, who was also driving a motorcycle, chased the victim, who lost his balance and crashed. The victim pleaded to the suspect to spare his life but was shot. Cabals crawled to a grassy area to escape but the suspect followed and shot him again. The victim sustained bullet wounds and was taken to a hospital where he was declared dead. Montano said the victim was recently involved in a misunderstanding during a personal transaction and figured in an argument with a man who was interested in his live-in partner. Police already have a person of interest. 2 barangay security officers were killed and 3 colleagues were wounded in a drive-by shooting in Barangay Labu-Labu, Sheriff Agwak, Maguindanao del Sur on Monday night, the 27th of January. Police identified the victims as a 17-year-old Barangay Peacekeeping Action Team member and Esmail Singh, 20. Both residents of Barangay Labu-Labu Mother, Sheriff Agwak, wounded were Anwar Banalan, 20, Mohammed Hussein, 30, and another 17-year-old male, all from Barangay Labu-Labu Mother. Investigation said the victims were manning a BP-80 checkpoint at 7 p.m. on the national highway when motorcycle-riding gunmen arrived and fired at them with an automatic rifle. Police said this was the second gun attack on BP-80 members in Sheriff Agwak in less than a week. A BP-80 member was killed and another was injured in the town's public market on the 22nd of January. Police are conducting follow-up investigation and have identified several persons of interest in the incident. With the country entering a post-pandemic phase, the Commission on Audit has warned that 152 million pesos worth of ultra-low temperature freezers procured by the government for its COVID-19 vaccination program were in danger of going to waste. Based on the special audit it conducted from the 20th of May 23 to the 20th of January 24 on the national vaccination drive versus COVID-19, the COA noted that several ultra-low temperature freezers remain idle or unutilized while these could be repurposed for keeping cancer medicines, clinical specimens, microorganisms, and other sensitive biological products for research. This non-refusing or non-repurposing of these valuable assets, with an estimated total value of 152,118,000 pesos, hinders their potential to contribute to other critical healthcare needs. Read the COA audit findings released on the 20th of December 24. Failure to properly repurpose these freezers could also result in failing to maximize the government funds spent and the value of donations on the said equipment, it noted, adding that the freezers could last up to 10 years. Of the 243 freezers in good condition as of the 20th of July 24, 166 were purchased by the government. The rest came from donors. The equipment was used to store specific COVID-19 vaccines, especially the Pfizer-BioNTech brand that needed to be kept and transported at temperatures ranging from -90°C to -60°C. The government bought these freezers to comply with the operational guidance for an ultra-cold chain system set by the World Health Organization and United Nations Children's Fund. The same guidelines, however, urged countries to come up with a transition and maintenance plan on how the freezers could be used beyond the COVID-19 vaccination program. The COA cited the Disease Prevention and Control Bureau of the Department of Health, which stated that the procured freezers were versatile units that can serve as essential equipment for local health systems in clinical and research applications. Among the Bureau's suggestions were to transfer the equipment to government-run research facilities such as the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, San Lazaro Hospital, and national warehouses or regional hubs to allow rapid deployment of ultra-low temperature vaccines, in case of future needs. The COA recommended that the DOH collaborate with other hospitals and local government units to ensure that any efforts to repurpose the freezers were aligned with the needs of the healthcare system. A separate COA audit report covering the year 2023 showed that more than 11 billion pesos worth of drugs, medicine, and supplies, including 7 million vials of COVID-19 jabs, expired that same year. The DOH responded by defending the procurement of millions of doses of COVID-19 vaccines that eventually went to waste, saying it was done to save lives during a global emergency. The COVID-19 vaccination exercise did not have the benefit of years of planning and preparation like other routine and established vaccination programs. It was an emergency, a matter of life and death, it said in a statement. Latest DOH data showed that more than 177 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines, including booster shots, have been administered nationwide since the government's inoculation program was launched in 2021. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.